All right, we're going. What we're about on this video is balancing tires with sticky weights. So, I would say we're pretty unique in the way we do it. I've yet to encounter another shop that does it this way. However, definitively this is the best way. Once you learn this way, not only will you like it, but it also makes sense. It saves us weight, gives the best balance possible. Basically what we try to do, we actually don't use any of this. So we always leave our tire machine in dynamic mode. We never switch out of that mode. So what we're trying to do is actually manipulate the machine and give it the exact measurements. Just the same way you would if you use, if you use this caliper, you're given it exact measurements. We're going to just use the tape measure and give it exact measurements. The same exact concept, just done in a different way. So the first thing in this is, we need to get the actual measurement of the rim, okay? And then we need to get the width, which is going to be this one, which is going to be D for diameter, okay? So, can you zoom in on this column and kind of see what I'm measuring?
Yep.
Are we in?
We're good.
So, the key in this is, we want to measure on the innermost part, right where we're going to put the actual weight. So we want to measure, think of the weight, so you've got a weight that's that wide. We want to put the tape measure right in the center of it. Can you see that well, Colin? Okay, let me do that. Make sense? That's good. Don't worry, it's not.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah, okay.
Floating around.
So you want to, in your mind, picture where you're going to stick the weight, and you can just stay zoomed in on the tire right now. They can hear you talking. Picture where you're going to stick the weight, and you're going to measure across. You're going to measure the diameter of the rim. So in this situation, I haven't measured it, so whatever we get, this is a prefabricated stuff. We're going to measure across. We're going to get, you obviously want to hit the center. We're going to get 14.1, okay? So not only do we need to measure the diameter, we need to actually measure the width. So I'm not in the way of the tire, am I?
No, you're good.
Okay, so we want to measure the width of the rim as well. So again, imagine the center of where you're going to put that sticky weight. You're going to take the tape measure, you're going to put it right in the middle, and then you're going to visualize where the outside weight is going to sit. So sometimes you can bang weights. You can use a bang on weight on the outside. So you want to, in your mind, picture where the center of that weight is. In this scenario, we're actually going to put a sticky weight on the inside. So you're going to have a sticky weight on the outside of the rim, and you're going to have a sticky weight on the inside. So we've got to, again, visualize. So we're going to stick the weight on the inner part. We're going to stick the middle there, middle there. So in this scenario, we got 4.75 width, we got 14.1 diameter. So 4.75 width, 14.1 diameter. So, if you want to come over here, Colin, you can literally just unplug this thing, the battery, and it's charged, So, when we set up, kind of go over here so we can kind of see what's going on. We obviously put the tire on like we would with any other tire. Tighten it down. Now, we still utilize the distance from the tire machine, which in this scenario is 3.2. So you take this guy, you run it out to there. You hear the beat? It's now 3.2. So now this thing's asking me for the diameter, or the width of the rim, which was our 4.75 number. In this scenario, I can't put 4.75, but I can put 4.7. So we got to go to the diameter. We simply hit the diameter button. We go 14.1. Okay. This machine is now set up perfectly. It's actually using real diameters. Okay, or real measurements. So if you tried to switch it to, alloy 1, 2, 3, that machine is now just guessing. This is now a definitive, here's where we're gonna put the weights, it's told the machine, and we're good. So, hit the start button, and unfortunately this rim's not in very good shape, but we'll work through that. So, we are always gonna start with the outside first. You can back up a little bit so we can get a little bit. We're always gonna start with the outside first. We're always gonna balance the outside first, okay? And we're gonna do it outside, we're gonna get to 0, and then we'll do the inside. So in this scenario, we need 2.25 ounces of weight. So we wanna get that thing centered. You see where it's blinking? It's now centered. On this tire machine, there's a line right here that says center. We're going to take our yellow crayon, yellow tire crayon. We're going to go right above the line, and we're going to put that line right above that line. Now, we're going to rotate back around. We're going to find out where we need to put that. Now, if you remember, it's 2.25 ounces. Well, what we never do is start with 2.25 ounces. We would start, in this scenario, we would start with 2 ounces. Here's why. If you try and hit 2.25 on the first try and you miss, it will then start kicking you around the tire. So you'll put a weight here, it'll then kick you over to here. If you don't hit that point, it'll kick. So if you underweight it the first time, hit it, it'll tell you to go right back to the same spot with the appropriate amount of weight. And at that point, you put the next piece of weight on and you're done. This saves us in time and it saves us in actual weight. So I'm going to put this on. Find my yellow mark. Put this on. So I got 2 ounces on there right now. It's calling for 2.25. So in this scenario, it went to 0. So if I would have actually put 2.25 on, I potentially would have overweighted it and it would have kicked me 180 or 90 degrees, and then we're running down that rabbit hole of let's just start throwing a bunch of weight on there. So now I got a 0, right? Well, now I can just focus on this side. So now it's pretty simple. I'm going to take, now here's the key of this. We have ½ ounce weights and ¼ ounce weights. So I always try and start by using the ½ ounce weights. So each one of these is a ½ ounce. We use the ½ ounce weights because if you use the ¼ ounce weights, you get a long, you'd much rather, you don't want to have a long weight, you'd much rather have this. Well, these two weights are almost equal, okay? So you'd much rather have it in a much shorter length. Does that make sense what I'm saying there, Colin? You see it?
yeah.
So in this scenario, because it's super easy to do this side, I'm going to stick this on here. Again, I got my blinking light. I got my line right here. I can hit it exactly. Boom. Now, it kicked me a ¼ ounce on the outside. To give you an idea, unfortunately, this rim is extremely bent and probably not the best demonstration to actually get to 0, but just because I was curious to give you an idea, this kicked me, so my ¼ ounce is going to go right on the end of my interior weight. So remember that 2.25 that I started out with? I put 2 on there. Well, now it is asking for that extra ¼ Just for fun, I'm going to put it on there. And again, I'm actually just putting this right on the end of my 2 ounces. Now we're zeroed out. Now, generally speaking, once you balance the outside, you're only going to deal with the inside. This tire, the rim is junk, which is why we have it. So, but that's how that should be done. I've hit the exact spots. I haven't used a ton of weight, and I've saved a bunch of time. So, if you do have questions, obviously you can ask other technicians in the building who have learned this way. Most technicians don't know this until they work here. So, this is a great thing to utilize. It saves weight, saves time, gets you a perfect balance every time.